Turning a rough-hewn piece of wood into a thing of beauty is a fine art. The quality of a piece is determined by the quality of the finish, the smoothness to the touch, the rich glow of the wood, the beauty of the grain. Hours of meticulous hand sanding may go into the smallest of pieces. That's the craftsman's touch. But for those whose business requires producing handcrafted quality at a reasonable cost, hand sanding is far too time-consuming and too expensive. There is a better way. Wolfhead sanding wheels are an effective alternative to the high rejection rates and excessive costs which have long handicapped the sanding of moldings and shaped wooden parts. Flat work and intricate surfaces are finished equally well. Firm cushioning bristles force abrasive strips around corners and into hollow and fluted surfaces. Brushes and abrasive strips. That's the simple formula for the Wolfhead. Its predecessor, the Vonnegut head, was a 1930s design that by the 1950s had evolved into a national standard. The Wolfhead updates that design to meet the demands of today's market, but maintains the basic principles that made the Vonnegut head so successful. The abrasive is stored inside the wheel and released as needed. When in use, the abrasive extends beyond the tip of the brush, and as the abrasive wears, fresh abrasive can be released. On the standard wheel, this is accomplished by stopping the wheel, loosening the spindle nut, and turning the cap plate slightly. Retightening the spindle nut and starting the machine produces centrifugal force that releases the abrasive. The 32-brush Wolfhead can be ordered with a feed device which allows the abrasive to be released while the wheel is rotating. The action of the Wolfhead can be firm or soft, depending on the speed of the wheel. The 32-brush model, approximately 13 1/4 inch overall diameter, is normally used at 1200 RPM. For most applications, the 8 1/4 inch diameter 16-brush model should turn at 1800 RPM. Faster speeds produce firmer action. Slower speeds, softer action. Standard trim brushes with 1 1/2 inch bristles are suitable for most applications. But if your application involves deeply recessed areas or requires a softer touch, 3 1/2 inch long trim brushes are available. Because these long trim brushes increase the diameter of the wheel by 4 inches, the speed of the wheel should be reduced. The 32 brush head is available in 1, 2, 4, 6, and 8 inch widths. The 16 brush models are available with 1, 2, 4, and 6 inch abrasive widths. The overall width of the wheel is 2 1/2 inches greater than the nominal width, and it is important that the spindle on which the wheel is mounted be of adequate length to accommodate the wheel and the nut that secures it. 12 brush models, usually used on handheld tools, are only available in widths of 1, 1 1/2, and 2 inches. The choice of which diameter you order may be determined by the equipment you already have in your plant. If your equipment runs at 1800 RPM, the 16 brush model is probably the best choice. Unless the configuration of your work requires a smaller diameter, choose the 32 brush model on 1200 RPM equipment. Remember that the Wolfhead is designed to produce a smooth finish. When aggressive sanding is required to remove deep imperfections, such as knife marks, the part should be sanded on a drum or belt first, and then finished with the Wolfhead. With a fine grit abrasive, the Wolfhead can be used for sanding sealer coat. Grinding and Polishing Machinery Corporation, the makers of the Wolfhead, offers a full line of machines from which to select the one you need.
It's very easy to operate. It can do intricate shapes very simply, which otherwise have to be done on a complicated piece of equipment that takes a long time to set up, or by hand sanding. You know, this machine, there's no setup to it. Just simply by picking up a different shaped part, an operator can sand different things with no changeover in setup.
Most all your companies today are required to produce a fine finish. That's what the customer wants, a fine finish. And without this, we couldn't produce a fine finish. And it's very simply operated, no expense other than paper. Most any operator could run it. I mean, it takes no training.
Time is money, and in this day of keen business competition, Wolfhead sanding wheels can help cut your sanding and polishing time and increase profits. Choose the Wolfhead from Grinding and Polishing Machinery Corporation. Maintain the tradition of fine craftsmanship.